He's not gonna let you keep it.
Well, I'm gonna ask anyway.
He's gonna say no.
Not nesting celery.
Nesting what?
Mr. Crevice, can I keep...
No, Gainsborough. I've already told you that the revolting tub of hair has to stay in the shed.
I'm not asking about Boxwig. He's still not house-trained yet.
No, what is it then?
I found this egg on the front porch.
You found it? It was my boot it's stuck to. What on my dimension of destiny?
It's pretty big, so I thought it might be a horse egg. But Snodford says there aren't any horses round here, so it's more likely a ostrich egg or something.
He did he?
So, can I keep it? It's all alone in the world, and I think it needs me.
I don't see why not.
Yay! I'm gonna go make a box up for it. Then I can show it the garden and the shed.
I thought I told you to stay out of my dimension. Whatever do you mean, Flem? Give it up! I know a giant cave spider egg when I see one. Busted. You're lucky this is going to be hilarious. Kutam Ilunu Dees Wamid. Welcome one and all to the only logical place to dig rooms in the shape of a giant water creature. Honestly, why did I do this? That we all call Mirrorgleam. It's going to be a bitty one today. I have many things to prepare for what will be the grand finale of this series, and the most important part will take some time to do whilst also hinging on the completion of nearly everything else. A cogent paradigm might be having the wish to catapult a 3-ton stone simulacrum of Greg Page into the loading bay of your local Sainsbury's. There's an awful lot of timber sawing and rope acquiring that should be performed before you get out the rock chisels. And I would say at this point we're barely past calculating the velocity of a yellow wiggle in flight to ascertain the best point of launch. Turtle on a mountain not looking so crazy now, eh? Oh dear, we've a dwarf in a strange mood, and it's the one dwarf I hoped we'd never have occasion to note again. Vuka Duradimash. She's claimed the clothier's workshop, filled it with sheep wool cloth, and is off for more gubbins. I'm guessing this is because she's a dabbling weaver? Me knows nobody wants to see what sort of artefact could be brought forth by solely the pump operation skill, accomplished or not. Why couldn't it be lye? I know we don't have any ash to hand at the moment, but we have got charcoal, so it shouldn't be the work of more than a minute to get some lovely pre-soap going that wouldn't have to forever link the dimension of destiny to a name that I can't bloody say. Let's give her a minute. Then she has created Otho Saikad, the wilted rain. That's not rain like what clouds do, but rain as in what monarchs do. It is a sheep wool hood adorned with an image of Cadol Tombsrained in gemstone, that she's claimed as a personal treasure. Who is Cadol Tombsrained? Well, she was actually a dwarf that visited Mirrorgleam many years ago, as the outpost liaison after Zuglar and before Melville, and, New Melville. Here we can see some reason as to why we only saw Cadol for 1 year. She was promoted to champion of the Lancers of Hardiness, and married her now husband, Rovod Mirror Ages. Interesting stuff, certainly, but the question I'm sure is on all of your lips: has Vukar ever met Cadol? No, of bloody course she hasn't. She only started existing this summer. This means that either Vukar has fallen madly in love with another dwarf that she's never met, based solely on the stories told to her by dwarves, who themselves only met Cadol once for about 5 minutes, or I got blind drunk before last episode and gave Vukar a doomed homosexual love triangle backstory after reading too many early 2000s gender-flipped Harry Potter fan fictions. I'll let you lot decide amongst yourselves. Now we move on to the meat of today's plan. As I mentioned last episode, we have a slight issue with filling our main reservoir up. That being, our second reservoir is too small to do so. So here you can see the plans for the upgrade. By the by, this is my first time ever utilizing the blueprint system, and will probably be my last. I'll stick to designations my dwarves can't get to. But yes, before long the new secondary reservoir will be filled, and with that we could begin filling the main one. What's that, you're thinking? What's that hole over there in the north for? Ah, now that would be telling. Suffice it to say, all will become clear when the time is right. The lengths I'll go to not to have to clean my own catch beast Arare Thasio Methu has come. With Unu MIA, Arare has free reign, the horse kind this time, not the monarch kind, in the caverns. This is actually a touch of bad news. We shall have need of a beast in the future, but Arare here is a little more flappy than is prudent for that purpose. For now it can stay down here, halting any attempt of the game's bringing my FPS down. But mark my words, your days are numbered, beast. And not just because I get Snodford to hollow my fish now. Don't look now, but another dwarf has gone into a strange mood, and it's only Sarvesh Fated Lances. Who? Exactly. He's a dabbling clothier, because of course he is, and he's a single-minded avoider of excitement. Can you feel the boredom thrumming through the air like whatever the opposite of electricity is? Porridge? Anyway, on top of titillating with talk of tantalizing trappings and attire, he's now singing songs of sweet sorrow concerning the sorry state of our stockpile of seed-borne string. That is to say, he wants pigtail thread and we haven't any. Sort of. I'll just get this all sorted out and be back with you once he's done. Bloody dwarves. And he has created Tanga Neural, Spot Blind, a pigtail vest that he's claimed as a family heirloom. What utter nonsense! Imagine your child tugging at your crundle leather dress, and when you look down they point to the framed underwear on the mantelpiece woven from a plant named after a hog's bottom. As you look from beloved family heirloom to the wide-eyed confusion on your child's face, your heart sinks as the dreaded question is asked. Why did we strip Grandpa when he was asleep? Was it too warm in the ambulance? Technically that's 2 questions, but I forgive myself because I didn't create an artefact sweat catcher. I'm not thanking you for this one, Sarvesh. Go away and think about what you've done. Now, as you may have noticed, we've managed to complete the secondary reservoir, and based on the movement of the water, it should fill up in no time. Well, once we remove the drainage bars we set up to prevent dwarves drowning or being swept to their deaths into the caverns. I I think possibly I could have created a more efficient pattern of walls on the floor above to maximize the fill rate, but it shouldn't matter all that much. I know you lot aren't aware of precisely why I'm doing all this, but suffice it to say I am getting an awful lot of satisfaction from the progress we're making. And to any lamenting the encroaching end of Mirrorgleam, like John's wife, know that the next series is one I am chomping at the bit to get to. It's going to be good. We're back in the turtle for a quick aside, as I've decided to play with something I never have before. Dye! Here in the new dyer's workshop, I've instructed our dwarves to begin colouring cloth using the dimple dye from the dimple cups we've been growing for no more reason than we can. And there we have it. Masterful sheep wool cloth dyed midnight blue with dimple dye. This should increase the value of any clothing made with it, stop our dwarves from walking into each other out in the snow, and free up some bags for use in other crafts. And why not dye the thread too? The dwarves can use it for suturing and get ambivalent thoughts when thinking of old war wounds. It's a bit of fun. And here we see Urist having a meeting with Savesh in his sleep. Yes, I'd probably get out of there as quickly as I could too. But then again, I know more. We just caught the tail end of that bizarre interaction, as previously Savesh had been climbing prone all over our unconscious Duke. What he doesn't know can't hurt him. Hopefully. Perverted vest fanciers aside, Mirrorgleam's Duke is doing very well. Embarrassed by his lack of grand dining room, and honestly that's on me, but managing his ducal duties as efficiently as can be expected. For what was once a thief and a swindler, he seems to have a firm grasp on being a member of the nobility now, and on second thought that is perhaps not such a big surprise. We're just lucky there's no lawyers in the dimension of destiny. But yes, he's bored, a little overworked, and victim to the same aversion to prepared meals that the other dwarves are struggling with. So let's give him a little gift. We're sorry about the wait, Urist, but here it is, your grand dining room. Adding 2 more statues to yourself and a bunch more walls and floors to have our stone carvers scrape random carvings onto is apparently all it takes to make the cut. I hope it's everything you ever wanted. Bloody dwarves.
It's making sounds inside. It's going to hatch soon.
Nobody is going to get that reference.
What?
Oh, there you both are. Have I missed it yet? Are they my good towels? Well, he needed to make a nest. He could have used his own bloody towels.
I drip dry.
Me too now, apparently.
Ash, I think it's happening.
Oh!
Was it you that had under 5 seconds? Nora, that thing's big. Did the giant in its name not clue you in? But what are we going to do now? I don't know. I didn't think this far ahead. Of course not. Grab that tennis racket. I'll use this umbrella to...
Daddy is coming.
Graham?
Sorry, guys. I thought ostriches were the ones with 2 legs. I didn't have enough tiny booties for the little guy.
Gainsborough?
Oh, he's fussing. I'm gonna take him out in the sunshine. Come on then, sandwich.
Sandwich? And along comes Melville. She doesn't appear to be carrying a crown or anything, so I think we're safe to let her in. We are straight to trade requests, though. Savesh's vest was useful in that it at least made me aware of a great lack in pigtail. So, on top of the logs we normally ask for, I'm requesting cloth and seeds. I would ask for thread, but they haven't any. Oh, and I figure why not ask for charcoal too? It's what we're mainly using the logs for, so we may as well cut out the middleman. Canyon Humor wants drinks and anvils. The former I am more than happy to provide, but we're melting all anvils down for steel, so no dice on the latter. Goodbye, Melville. Thank you for the information that our queen is still sending dwarves to die in the pointless elven war. Moving on, we're now witnessing Alath Glacier Cloisters training our animals in exactly the way I've been saying she hasn't been doing for the last few years. It would appear I must offer an apology, as it turns out she in fact needed a space dedicated to the training of animals to do so. Yes, look at the quick work she's making of it now. I'm in two minds as to whether I can truly be blamed for this, though. In my defense, there is nothing in the training interface that hints at the need for a training room. But then again, dwarves would die of thirst one tile away from a water source if their deity hadn't marked it as a place to drink from. So, let's call it an all-score draw and both learn from this little debacle. Eh, Dwarf Fortress? We're following Lytas now, who's gone into what will probably be the final strange mood of the episode. He's a professional bone carver, which begs the question of whether he does it vocationally or is just never improper with it. Which begs more questions about what being improper whilst carving bone actually entails, and proves I need to spend less time listening to what goes on in your heads, you mucky little gremlins. No idea what he's planning, as he's claimed a crafts dwarf workshop, so best we just wait and see. And he has created Amcol Stelmith Gosmer Col, Council Trest the Umbral Wheel. It's a sword! Well, okay, a training sword, but it's still a sword. Made of sheep bone and adorned with an image of our first king, Olon Ropraise, in the year 1. It's worth peanuts. It's about as sharp as warm custard, and it reeks of mutton, but it's Mirrorgleam's first offensive weapon, even if just nasally. Surprising as it may seem, though, I do in fact have an idea as to how we might put it to some use. I'll cover as what in the next episode most likely, so do be sure to subscribe not to miss out. And now we see the space I've cleared out above the sweet and sour gift to the porcelain goddess. A big squarish area that we will partition off into bedrooms and operating rooms, because this shall indeed be our new hospital. It has a well going down into its own cistern area, separate from the old one and the
Big circle?
reservoir. The general idea will be that we'll have holes to the tavern here, and therefore the stricken dwarves won't miss out on all the fun. The need for a big, efficient hospital will become very obvious next episode, when we start planning for the final push, and though I won't go into detail, I can say we will almost certainly be glad for the ample space. With that all said, it is, I'm afraid, time to say goodbye for another fortnight. I know I keep mentioning it, but the end of Mirrorgleam drawing near has me all kinds of excited, and I'm glad that you few wonderful lot who keep up with the madness shall be here to see it through. Crumpet Sounds is closing in on 1,400 subscribers, and seeing as the algorithm has pencils up its nose and is saying a wobble, I'd say we're ticking along just nicely. If you enjoyed the nonsense, unsubscribed and wanted to help us get to that figure though, well, I wouldn't be against that at all. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Anu Zeshon, you most wonderful of individuals. Anus
Eshon. Who's Daddy's little ostrich?
This is a nightmare. Well, we've only ourselves to blame. I'm glad you said we. Why? That's your dressing gown it's wrapped in.